Welcome, lovely soulmates. I am so excited. In fact, I'm honestly honored to see you all here. You are men and women of caliber. You are amazing people. Thank you for taking the step of joining me in this class. Honestly, I am excited. Yes. And today is day one of our 2 days free class. Yes, 2 days free class. This class is very close to my heart, sincerely, because I know the struggles we all face as fashion designers and the struggles we face in corset making. Mm. Let's not even go there. And at the end of the day, you see yourself struggling with sales, see yourself struggling with having not been able to pay bills. So that is why this class is so dear to me because I've been there. And I promise that in these 2 days, your eyes will be opened in a way that it has never been before. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of the class. Make sure you watch day one. Make sure you watch day two. Okay, watch everything completely because at the end of day two, I'm going to be showing you the bonus that I have for those of you that I'll be selecting to hold your hands and show you the upper grade. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the free class. So now, what exactly are we talking about in this free class? We're going to be talking about how to mass produce corsets, get bulk customers, and cash out. How do you mass produce corsets, get bulk customers, and cash out? That means we're like talking about three things in this class, and it's for free. Ha. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you get your tools ready. Make sure you get your mindset ready. Make sure you get your pen, your paper, all your tools, get them ready. Of course, we'll be doing some sewing. Yes, because how will you mass produce without sewing? How are you going to be creating those corsets without knowing how to sew them? In this perspective of this class, we'll be talking about that. But you can still outlet the production to a production house. But if you want to know how to do it by yourself, because you're still starting out, maybe you don't have money to hire a producer yet, then you need to stay tuned to this class. So get your tools ready, get your materials ready, get your mindset ready, and also make sure you get ready to implement because I will end up speaking all this grammar and it will become zero if you don't implement. So make sure you're ready to implement too. So now let's look at what we'll be covering in this class for these 2 days. Now, before we dive into what we'll be covering in this class, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Margaret Ofwasia. You can call me Maret, and I will answer you with love. Okay. I'm a fashion designer, a fashion tutor. I've spent years studying, practicing, teaching fashion design in different aspects, be it corsets, gowns, dinner wears, wedding gowns, and the rest. And I want to tell you one thing. In the process of all of this, I've realized that corsets is one of the upper hand that I have had so far. Now, there are different experiences you will gain as a fashion designer. There are different aspects of fashion that will take you to the next level. Everything must not be the same for everybody. Okay. But for me, I would say corset is a game changer for me so far. And it can change yours. It can become a game changer for you also. That's why I am so passionate about teaching it and teaching it in the money way this time around. Okay. Yes, I have classes already. And in the course of time, I've created different online classes. For now, yes, it is online classes that I base on. Physical outlets are not yet available for those of you that may want to know. We just have the online classes, and these classes consist of corset classes. We have the foundational classes, then we have the intermediate class. Other courses there. If you just want more details, come to my DM. I will let you know. Okay. Then we also have the corset series. In this corset series, I call it the corset formula. This is a class where we talk about different types of corsets. We actually have 5 different types of corsets in that corset formula bundle. If you're getting the bundle, so you can get the bundle or you can get it in single. Okay. In there, we have a full wedding dress, like wedding dress that you can even make for a bride on a live day. So you can get any of these classes. If you want more details on these classes, okay, just let me know. I don't even know how I switched to this part because I think we're talking about how teaching is my passion, something like that. So I'm just trying to let you know that we have this, but that's not why we're here. Let's get back to why we are here. Okay. So now I already told you that we are going to be talking about the topics we are going to cover now. Let's see them. So I've written them down here so that I can mention everything out for you. So in the course of all of this class, like from day one to day two, we're going to be looking at the difference between a ready to wear and a one-on-one sales. We'll be looking at the reality of corsets business, the reality in it. Why is bulk corset production a game changer? We're also going to see how to structure your corset production for mass order. You're also going to see how to attract serious bulk buyers. We'll see the mistakes stopping you from cashing out with corsets. And of course, I'm going to be showing you the practical process of how you can make a corset, a ready to wear corset that you can make sharp, sharp, like sharp, 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 sharp. That's why we're talking about the bulk production aspect of it. Okay. So these are the things we are going to be covering in this class. I hope you're ready. I hope you are ready. So now, let's be honest. Yes, let's be honest. Many of you here already know how to make corsets. You already know how to make corsets. So some persons may even ask you, why are you in this class? Why are you in this class? Even when you signed up, you will like, don't I even know how to make corsets? But why am I in this class? Yes, that's true. Some of you already know how to make corsets. Some of you are still planning to go and learn. While some of you are still in the learning stage. But no matter the category that you are, there are struggles that you are facing. Now, let's look at these struggles. This pain that you're facing right now that is actually making money to run away from you. So, I'm going to be mentioning 8 pains you're facing right now as a fashion designer that is making sales not come to you. Number one is your mindset. Yes, most of us have the mentality that corset cannot give you money, that is only streetwears that can give you money, or bubu, or all those kind of outfits that are just you feel that they are more easier to make and people wear them easily and all of that. Yes, there's a market for it, but there's also a market for corsets. Most of us think that there is no market for corsets. So your mentality have already deleted that aspect. You don't even want to think about it. When somebody mentions corset, you be like, not later customer will come and price me 10,000. It's because you have done what you have had that mentality. You have built up that mentality that corset cannot give you money, that it is waste of time. Yes, that's how most of us have put it. Number two, you are still selling corset one one. You're still making corset one one for customers. How are you supposed to make money from selling one one? Okay. Some persons are out there looking for whom to supply them in bulk. There are lots of markets out there. We're going to be talking more about it later. That wants you to give them in bulk, but you are there giving people one one. So it is a problem. It becomes a pain for you. Yeah. Number three, you post and post, but nothing is happening. Your social media is there everywhere. Every day you are posting. Every day you are posting. Every day 5 posts a day. They say we should post 20 posts a day, but still nothing. This pain, I've gone through that one, and I'm going to tell you outrightly that it's not by posting. It is okay. Posting might still be included in it, but it is not only by posting. So that's number three, right? Number four, you are chasing numbers. When it comes to your social media, you are going to groups where they are doing follow for follow, like for like, comment for comment. Therefore, you're attracting people that will not even buy. People that tomorrow, once they look at your profile, they will even unfollow you again. These are the pains that you're going through. And I can feel them because I have been there. I have been there. So the next one is that you're begging instead of attracting. How do you feel when someone is like begging you to buy something in the market? Do you know when I go to market, like all of these markets, if I see those people that come, anybody that runs to me and say, "Man, come buy for me now. You don't go buy for me." I don't buy for that person. I don't buy. I will just want to look for somebody that is just calm. In fact, what I even look out for is the comfortability of that environment. I just someone store that attracts me. I just go there, pick my things, no too much noise, no too much talk, and I go. That store now has done what has attracted me because of the comfortability there, the aura of the whole place is attracting. That is how yourself should be. That is how your online stores should be. Another point is that you don't have a system that turns your posts to sales. There are some of us, when you wake up, of course, we want to make posts. Someone like me, I don't even post regularly, but I do things that bring sales to me. Yeah. So I can tell you that it's not only by post. Post is included, but it's not only by post. Now, when you make these posts, you don't have a system to turn those posts to sales. Like you don't have this pathway to follow. If someone sends you a message now, maybe you posted something about boo gown, and the person commented or sent a DM and said, "I'm interested in this outfit," and next thing you don't know what to reply, or you get so excited and you just be like, okay, the price is 15,000, and that is it." And the person tells you, "Okay, I will get back to you." Are you seeing the issue? This "I will get back to you" now is they have gone because you don't have what you don't have a pathway to follow for responses that comes to your DM when you make a post. So these are the problems you are facing. Now the next is that you're selling to just one particular audience. And some of us think that okay, because it's corset we're talking about, right? It's corset production you're talking about. Then you go to okay, let me use for example now you run an ad, then you're targeting only women. Do you know that you're going to make a loss? Like You attract women, no, but not targeting men will make you have loss. How do I mean? Now, if I am selling a corset online and someone's husband sees that corset and be like, this will fit my wife. Oh. Now, are you seeing where the difference is coming? This man will definitely buy that your corset without even pricing it, and we go and give the wife. Meanwhile, another person is out there targeting only women. Therefore, no man will even see that post. Are you seeing where the issue is coming from? This is part of the problem you're facing. Another issue is that bulk buyers don't know that you exist. Bulk buyers are out there, but they don't know that you exist. What are you doing to attract them? What should you do to bring them to you? These and many more I'm going to be unleashing with you in this class. Let's flip it a little. But let me ask this question as we're flipping it. Why would bulk corset production change your fashion game? Now imagine you stop chasing all these one sales. Instead, you start getting bulk buyers, bulk orders. Let's just apply small mathematics in that. If someone comes to you now and give you what 500 order and orders for 500 corsets, 500 pieces of your ready to wear corset, and I'm telling you that out there in the markets, in online stores, everywhere, there is nobody that sells less than 45,000, or you might see 35. But you now, you decided to sell for 20. You're getting somewhere, you know it's bulk order now. Now, let me get my calculator. You decide to sell for 20,000 naira, right? Now, this person, you have charged them 20,000 naira per piece. Now, to produce one, let's say that to produce one, you're going to spend like, let's say 7,000 naira. Let me not take it too low. 7,000 naira to make one. That's for your materials. I've not added any other cost, just the materials you want to use to make it. No overhead cost, no labor and the rest, no salary yet. Just your production. How much? 7,000. Then you now have how much left? 13,000. Now, this 13,000 naira is what is following you home first. Now, multiply by 500. See it. 6 the money no green me mention. 6.5 million naira. Are you seeing that? See it. 6.5 million naira. Now, if you remove your overhead cost, labor, every other go, there's no how 3 million naira will not follow you home. And maybe this production set might take you a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on the capacity, the hand you put in to help you with the job. Now, this leads me to another point, which is your capacity. So before you can start this production, you need to know the capacity that you can take. We're going to talk about that later though, but I just want to put it in here so that you get to the point when we get there. Now, 500 pieces, how many can you produce? How many can one person produce? All of this is what you have to put into consideration before you start giving your bill. How many people do I now need to make up for the 500? If the person says, okay, I need this in 3 weeks or in 1 month, all of this you have to learn how to calculate. We'll be talking about that later. So you can see that just this one order can change your life, can change your business, can change your, in fact, change your reality, change everything about you. Just this one order now, you don't make 6 points. And I'm even saying, bad as it bad, you'll be going home with what? With 3 million naira after all your expenses. Just for how many weeks? So are you seeing that bulk buyers are people that changes people's destiny? Bulk orders changes your life, it changes your business. And here's another beauty about bulk buyers. They don't buy once and disappear. Mm-mm. Once you deliver, you see this first order now that came, you now delivered. Like everything was okay. Forget it, you have won their hearts. Get ready, because in the next what is 3 months? In the next 2 or how many months, the person is going to order again because they must have finished selling that one you have supplied. Are you seeing the beauty of bulk sales? And I'm not even talking about these sales now in just corset aspects, even in other aspects of fashion. If you apply all of this, it might still work for you. Okay. Now, instead of posting endlessly, okay, bulk corset production gives you that consistent income, repeat customer, like one person can patronize you throughout the whole year without getting tired. And it's going to create bigger name for your brand. And with this bulk sales and bulk buying, you'll be able to scale your business very fast. In the next how many years you're owning a plaza, people will be like, what's happening in this place? Do you understand? So you'll be able to scale your business without chasing clients. Instead, they will come to you. Now, you that have now delivered to this person, the person will speak your praise to another person. And that's how it keeps going, it keeps going. Before you know, you are getting orders that you cannot even handle. You are looking for people to give the orders. So that's why I said that this free class is not about just showing you about sewing. Okay, it's about changing the entire fashion game that you are experiencing. Now, I know from my explanation, you must have picked out some point that has to do with bulk production. You know the benefits already and the rest. But let's dive deep and know the difference between the ready to wear. When you're talking about ready to wear now, we're talking about this bulk production, right? And custom corset business. If you're doing like all these one order now, let's see the differences. Now, when you're making a one custom order, that's like one person comes today, another person comes tomorrow. You're dealing with different measurements every time. Stress of fitting, you see too much back and forth with clients. You will tell clients your bill is 40,000, they will price you 8,000. God, though. You will be limited with your income is limited. That one is for sure. Like, I cannot begin to explain how much I experienced that one because I know you are in that shoe. Every time your bank account is in zero, every day you keep praying, but bulk orders, ready to wear, bulk orders. Let's see what makes it stand out from one and one. Number one is that you'll be working with a standard sizing measurement. Okay. Now, I'm not trying to picture this from the wrong side, but if eventually make you send an order out to somebody and maybe it didn't fit and all of that, and the person actually told you, hey, I'm a US size 10, and maybe the person doesn't know that she's actually a size 12, and you actually sent size 10 now to the person. The person now fits it and be like, oh, it didn't fit me. Oh. And then now you now start looking for where the issue is coming from. What actually happened? It's supposed to fit you because you told me size 10 and I sent size 10 to you. And the person now figures out, oh, I'm actually a size 12, oh, it was a mistake. At this point, you know the person will not backlash on you. You know, because the person told you a measurement that is not theirs. And at the end, they will end up giving up that corset maybe to another person, or they will look for what to do to it. But this cannot happen in a custom outfit where you measure the person, you now made mistake. Hey, that customer is going to deal with you. They will take you to any level. They'll be like, what I ordered was what I got. This is they will drag the living daylight out of you. So are you seeing one of the advantage of bulk production? So now, instead of creating multiple patterns, although in the process of making the ready to wear, of course, you have to have different pattern sizes and all of that. But there are shortcuts, there are ways in which you can find your way around it and use one particular size for other sizes. It's called size grading, okay, it's called scaling of size. You scale it up or you scale it down, okay. So you can also do that. Then in ready to wear in bulk production, we have the process of sewing in batches. So you sew in batches. If you want to sew neckline now, all the outfit that is there, you are sewing only neckline at that particular point. Maybe for like 1 hour, you are sewing only neckline. So in that process, you are faster. Before you know, you are producing how many in a day. But if it's just one customer that sends you clothes and you're sewing, you even sew and be like, I beg, I'll continue tomorrow. Because you know you have like, they've given you like 1 month to sew the clothes. Just one cloth. But bulk production, see, you're producing 500 in 3 weeks. How dare you go and sleep? You will be there working to make sure that it comes out. Now, if you get 500 order, I don't know why I'm using 500 order, you will get 500 order, just watch. So if you get 500 orders, for example, and you make it in 3 weeks and you don't have any other order again, like maybe in the next 1 month, I'm just giving an example, okay? Okay, let's say you have this order this month, and in the next 2 months, another order didn't come. Do you know you will not feel it? Because you have already cashed out how much? Do you understand? So it will actually help you save time, save money, save stress because you're putting on all the energy at one particular time. So if you watch it, you're actually saving more time, more energy, and more money in bulk production process compared to when you're doing a one customer stuff that's custom made. So now we've seen the custom way of making a corset and the bulk production. We've seen the difference, see the impact that it makes. Now, I mentioned earlier there are things that make you struggle, things that keeps you financially down, things that don't make you move forward. How do you get out of these things? Now, you cannot get out of them without understanding the bulk production of corsets if you are venturing into this business. If you don't understand the bulk production process and how to attract bulk buyers. Of course, definitely you're going to keep struggling and you're going to keep staying broke. So now let's get into the teaching aspect where I teach you the bulk production aspect. In day two, we're going to continue the aspect of attracting those bulk buyers. I'll show you the ways you can go about getting them. Now let's dive into the sewing aspect. Now, first of all, we're going to talk about what a corset is. What is a corset? Lots of you, like I said earlier, many of you know how to sew corset. Even if you don't even know how to, what a corset is, you must have seen. In fact, I don't think there's any fashion designer in this modern age that doesn't know what the word corset is. A lot of persons know that corsets exist. So corset is a fitted top that shapes the body, especially the waist area, the bust area. And you must have seen it on brides in wedding dresses, on Owambe styles, you see it on Instagram, different social medias. There's no social media you go to that you don't see anything that is related to corset. It's always there. So some corset can be complicated. Like you just see that, you just see the corset, you just give up. You give up sewing entirely. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the easy one. Please. We're going to make it very simple, okay? And you're going to see how it works in a simple way. We're not going to the complicated aspect, all right? All those other ones, drop them and come with a new mindset to learn this way that I've broken it down for you. So, in summary, a corset is an outfit that will mold your body to some extent though. So if you have that shape that it can mold, it will mold it for you. But sometimes corset is not able to hold plus size, especially if that corset is not well structured. Okay. So when it comes to corset, structuring is very, very, very important to give you that mold, that shape that you want. Now, let's look at the measurements we'll be needing for this class. So in this class, we're going to be seeing how to make something like this. Okay. You can see the back. It comes with the lacing and this is the front. So this kind of corset can be worn by anybody. Someone can decide to wear this corset for an office outfit, like on a regular office outfit like this, just with something like this gown I'm wearing and your heels ready to go. And the good part about this particular corset is that it is a reversible corset. This particular one I'm wearing is a reversible corset. I can use this other part as my right side, and I can use this other part too as my right side. So it's reversible. And so is the lacing at the back. If I turn it to the other side, it's going to still be looking good like this. So something like this that's simple are the kind of style people want out there. So if you can make things like this and supply to the places where you get the bulk buyers, of which I'll be mentioning in day two, of course you're going to be getting your sales. There is no how you will send this to somebody, they will not like it. This particular corset has brought a lot of deal for me. Just this one, it has. So, and I believe it will do the same thing for you. So now let's get into what I said earlier was that we're going to talk about the measurement that are needed. So for this class, there are six major measurements that I'll be needing. Any other one you can add to it. You'll be needing shoulder, you'll be needing the length. This length you'll be needing. Shoulder to the length, which is like 1 inch below the navel. Okay. That's where you stop. So that I can cover the stomach a little bit. So shoulder to the length that you want, shoulder to the under bust, then shoulder to bust point. Then you'll be needing your bust circumference, under bust circumference, and waist circumference. These are the circumferences you'll be needing. So if maybe the person you don't want to use all these measurements, you can use the size chart to develop your own measurements to know what to make out of it. So these are what we'll be talking about in the upgraded class. So, but for this particular class, these are the ones we'll be needing to make something like this. Okay, you can see how beautiful it is. So yeah, these are the measurements you'll be needing. All right, so mates, let's go dive into making this beautiful corset top. I can't wait for us to see the magic we're about to create. Let's go. Welcome, soulmate, to the drafting table. So we're going to kick off with our drafting. This is the paper we're using. This is called a cardboard paper. You can use it over and over and over again to keep cutting out on your fabric. Okay, you can get it. We'll also be needing a pen, your measuring tape, of course, and your fabric. So I'll be using an Ankara fabric, so with a matching zipper. So I have what is called Estee here. You can use it also, but I'm not going to be using it in this class. Use it for like premium orders and all of that, but I'm not using it in this class. You're going to be needing your matching thread, of course, your matching thread and your boning. So this boning you're seeing here is a Ridgeline boning, or you can call it a sewable boning. your machine can pass through it. So that's the kind of boning you want to get. And this measures half inch. This is a half-inch boning. This half-inch boning can work for plus size and for small size. So just get a half-inch boning called regional boning. Okay. So this my paper is quite small, but we're going to be managing it. I'll show you how to do that. So I'll use my ruler and rule a margin. Oh, I didn't mention the rulers before, but you'll be needing a straight ruler and a curved ruler. This is very, very important if you want to have accurate markings in your pattern drafting. So it's very, very important you have them. So we kick off. So the first thing I'm going to do is to place my tape this way. Remember the measurement we mentioned earlier that you'll be needing, the length. So that longest length now, you're going to place it and leaving out the edge of the tape like this, the way you see I'm doing it. Just follow me step by step, okay? Now the length I'll be using is 24, which is below my navel. Then from there, I'll go up and find my under bust of 15, then my bust point of 10 and a half. Then from this bust point of 10 and a half, I'm going to find my armhole point. So I'm adding extra 1.5 to the top to find the armhole point. So that's a shortcut on how to find your armhole point, okay? Then next, you're going to find the half length. Still leaving your tape like this, so you find the half length at point 18 or 19, depends on your body, but I'm working with 19 here. Then you're going to go ahead and use your horizontal line to connect that point, just to form horizontal line like this. So we have the armhole, the bust, the under bust, the waist, then the length is down there. Okay, so these points are the points you'll be needing to draft this. So now on the armhole line, we're going to mark our shoulder measurement. Now, remember that we didn't find the shoulder measurement earlier. So you can work with average of between 14 to 18, depending on the body measurement, but I usually work with the average of 16. Okay, so that's 16 now divided by 2 is 8. That's what I just marked there. Then on the bust line, you're going to mark your bust circumference divided by 4. Okay, and on the under bust, you mark your under bust circumference divided by 4. Then the waistline, you mark the waist circumference divided by 4. So these are the things you'll be marking on this point. But come back to that bust line. Now, what I have for myself is 9 3/4. That means if I divide it to 4, that means the back will be taking 9 3/4 and front will also take 9 3/4. But back does not have bust now. So I will take out a little bit from the back and give to the front. So that at the end, back will now have 9 instead of 9 3/4. Because I'm going to take that 3/4 that is on top of that 9 and add it to the bust. So this is kind of giving proportion to the corset you're about to create so that it can fit better. So now I'm connecting the lines just with a dash line because I'm not done yet, okay? So next thing we're going to do now is to find what we call the bust span, or what we call nipple to nipple measurement. But remember, we didn't measure it, but there is a shortcut on doing that. Whatever your bust circumference is, divide it by 10, okay? It will give you what you'll be using for this particular pattern. Remember, this pattern now is we are dividing it into 4. So one part is what we're giving this thing now. So, but your bust circumference, divide it by 4, you have 3.9, okay, which are approximate to 4 inches, okay. So whatever the bust circumference is, just apply this formula. You will get exactly what you want to use for this particular pattern now. So if you want to get the full circumference, that means you divide by 5, or should I say the full nipple to nipple. Yes, that's nipple to nipple. Now if I do my normal nipple to nipple, it will give me 8. But the main division, if you divide it, to give you 7.8. That's approximately 8, the same thing. So now I'm going to mark that measurement. I'm using 4 here now, marking it all the way down like this. Okay, with my straight ruler, I'm going to connect. So you connect, and you also connect all the way to the top. So mark at that top also and connect so that you have a straight line. So all this point now that I've found, we are going to be creating what is called bust dart to create accommodation for where the bust will stay. And this bust dart is going to consist of 3 points. It's going to come in 3 points, okay, on the upper part, the waistline part, and on the side, okay. These 3 points, that's how it's going to come in. So let's find out of the waistline area. But I'm going to be using the under bust. I won't use the waistline. I'll use that of the under bust to create the dark line. So now, wherever the bust measurement stop on that part, measure what is left from what you have marked from the under bust and that bust point side. You can see how I just measured that remaining point. So that's what you'll be using now to create your dart. So now you're going to decide if you want to divide the measurement into 2 and share on equal parts. So you are using your bust span line now as your medium of measurement. So you mark to the left, mark to the right, then you connect all the way to the down part. So you have created a dart now. But I want my hemline to have this basque formation, this V kind of formation. Okay. So what will I do? From that my center front line, that first margin I have there, okay, you're going to come in by 1.5, or you can do 2 inches, whichever. So when you mark that 1.5, you're going to connect it all the way to that underbust again. Then mark that underbust dart that you found there again and reconnect. So you can see the shape has changed. We now have this kind of a basque formation there. So the next thing I'm going to do is to reconnect. You're going to connect now from that under bust to the bust line, but with a curve. So you can see why I said that you need a curve. So you can see how I'm placing it and I'm creating the curve like that. Okay. So this is very, very important. So I'm using my marker to reconnect it so you can see it. I want it visible. Okay. So once I'm done with this, we have done the waistline darts. So these darts will be taken off later. Okay. So this dart that we have taken, you are going to replace it on the side. Remember what we marked was the accurate measurement before. We didn't replace the dart. So you are going to replace it on the side. Very, very important to do that. Okay. So I replaced that. So the next thing we're going to do is to do the side darts. Remember I told you we are doing 3 darts. Number 1 is done. This is number 2 now. Number 2 is to come down on your bust line by 2 inches. You can do 3 depending on the bust size, but average of 2 inches is okay for most body sizes. So once you've done that, okay, once you've done that, I'm just trying to tell you that that is going to be eliminated. So also is this one I'm creating. So once I've done that, I will go ahead and do what is called truing of the line. Truing of the line means to make the lines equal. That's what I just did there. And I'm reconnecting up to the armhole line also. So the next thing to do is to create that number 3. So we've done 1 and 2. So how do you do that? You're going to measure from the bust line to the under bust. Whatever you have there, mark it to this upper part. Mark it to this upper part. That will show you where you will stop at the upper part. You can see that the upper part doesn't have any ending. So that will show you where to stop. So now, once you've done that, you're going to take in the darts there. The darts there ranges between 1.5 and 2 inches, depending on the body size you're working with. But I worked with 1.5 here, and I marked everything to one side. So you can decide to mark it to the other side, or you can share it equally, or anyhow. But I did just mark everything to one side like that. Okay. So once we are done with this, you make sure you true it to make sure it is equal. So I trued and I indicated where it's supposed to be equal at that point. Okay. So yeah, that's basically it. We are done with all the darts. You can see the 3 darts we marked now. Those are very, very important. So all of them will be eliminated. You can see I'm canceling them to show you that they will be eliminated. So next, you're going to decide the kind of neckline you want. What kind of neckline do you want to add? Okay. Me, I'm just doing a normal curve, like a sweetheart neckline. Okay, that's what I'm doing there. So I'm going to be coming down about 1 inch below the armhole point. Okay. So you can work with on your bust line, below your bust line, to give you a deep neck, whatever. But you know, this is a bulk production. We're trying to consider most people here. Okay. So that's the neckline I'm working with. So you also reconnect the other dark line now for this upper part to the armhole. Okay. So I'm going to place my curve again and reconnect like that. So just decide what you want. You can connect to your shoulder line and create something like this kind of curve. Depends on you, all right? I'm just trying to show you varieties of way you can do that. But this is the way we are going. We're just going to connect this way, and I'll use my marker to show you to make it visible. So at this point, we're almost done for the front. So the next thing I'm going to do is to create the basque waistline. You know, basque like a V kind of waistline. That's what we want to have there. So, but first, let me just make the side visible to you. So this basque waistline, if you just go ahead and draw your ruler with these darts there, it's not going to be straight at the end of the day. So I want to show you a way to do it. Place your ruler like this and find the points on the side and on this center. Then mark that of the center only for now. Measure from the waist to that point you marked and know what is there. Then take it to the other dart leg and mark. Then from there, you connect to the side like this, so that when you cut, it will be equal. If you place the ruler like this and mark straight, it will not be equal. So don't do this one. Okay, so this is one way to do it. You can now go ahead and cut. I think we're done now for the front. So yeah, we're done for the front. Let us see how to do that of the back. So for the back now, I'm just going to draw my margin on that part, okay, to indicate where I will stop or where I begin from, something like that. So once I've done that, I'm going to take my ruler and extend my armhole line like this. So for the waistline and the length, you need to measure before you can extend. Don't just go and measure what we have there on the front. So measure from the bust line to the waist. Whatever you have, minus 2 inches. That 2 inches is the 2 inches we use for the dart intake. You minus it. That is where you get your accurate back waistline. Okay. So if you go ahead and do everything straight, it's not going to be accurate. All right. So from here now, I'm measuring what I'm supposed to have for the chest line and on the waistline. Remember, we minus something before. So minus it and mark for your own. And that is it. You are done. So just indicate with your arrow to know that this is the top, so that you don't mistake it when you are sewing. So remember that this is not going to have zip at the back, it will have loop. So remove the opening for the loop. So I mark 2.5 inches up and 2 inches down, and we are removing it like that. So at this point, we are done. So here we will have your loop or your eyelet, whichever. Okay, so that is it for the back. We are done for the back. So next I will cut out and start closing that. So I've cut now, and I'm going to close the darts for the side first. So I told you we're eliminating all the darts. So I opened up that of the side and opened one of the leg for the down. Can you see? I'm doing what is called dart transfer here. So you can use your paper tape or your glue to hold this dart now you want to close on the side. Okay. Then when you close it, you're going to have something like this. It will stay open. That's what we want. Okay. So when you close now, place that of the back, and you see they're not equal because you minus that figure. So if you did not minus, you're going to have lack of equality there. Okay. So you can see everything is just going smoothly, smoothly. Follow the lines and keep cutting like that. Okay. So next is to cut out the dart for the upper part like this, and I'm removing that line I drew earlier. So like I said, you can decide not to draw the line. Okay, the same thing. Then take out this dart, and voila, we're done with the front. Oh, hey, good. This is so simple. You can see everything equals out. Everything equals out. So at this point, you can decide to do this down part for when you are done. Instead of doing it that first time, you can do it now. But we've done our own now, so no need. So now I'm labeling, and that is it. So I'm just trying to make this quick so that we can jump into sewing. But I know I've been able to make it simple for you in a way you understood, for you to understand, or anyhow I want to put it. But I'm so excited that I'm sharing this knowledge. Like, this is the shortest method ever. And yeah, that is it. The next thing we're going to do now is to cut out on our fabric. So let's go and do that. So I'm going to get my fabric. I'll be using my fabric for the lining and for the main part. So if you want to use normal lining for your lining part, no problem. But I'll be using this fabric for the both for the main part and for the lining part. So that means I'll be folding into four. Okay, instead of just folding into two like this. Okay, I will fold into four. So let me do that. So here I folded into four. So after folding into four, we're going to place the pattern. So this will serve as my front and the right side. That's the right side and the wrong side, sorry. Okay, so here I've placed my pattern, and I'm just trying to calculate the way it will look very well for me and look well on the final outcome. So after placing, I use a heavy stuff. You can see I use scissors to place it on top, or you can use your pin. So before cutting, make sure you mark your seam allowance. Don't follow what I'm doing here. Right here, I'm just cutting straight. I'm using my eye to measure. I'm gauging. Okay, so add your seam allowance all around. I did 1/2 inch on inside and 1 inch on the side. So all the inseams have about 1/2 inch. Then outside they have, that's the side, now have 1 inch. So right here I went ahead to notch everything on the under bust and on the bust line, the waistline and the rest. And right here we are done. So just go ahead, mark out your seam allowance. Very, very important. Mark your seam allowance because we didn't add it on the pattern. Okay. So next we're going to cut out the strip, or should I call it the loop that we're going to be using for the loop part. We won't be using eyelets in this outfit. I'll be using loop instead. So this is a fabric piece I'm using, and I marked about 1.5 inch to get it. Okay, so you can see how long it is. So let's go and sew. Now on the sewing machine here, you can see we are ready to kick off. I wanted to do a live demonstration. This is about 2:47. Let's see how long it will take us to sew this. Yeah, let's see. So right here is the pattern. Just set everything aside. You can just set your pattern aside one place. Keep it safe because you'll be using it later. So this strip now, I went ahead to fold it into two on the right side. Okay, so we'll be folding in from the wrong side to that fold, the other part. The wrong side, you fold from that part that has that edge. Did I say wrong side? Sorry. The edge, that place that has the fabric edge, you fold to the inside that have the fold, so that everything will be inside, like all your seams will go inside and stay tucked in while you stitch on top. Okay, this is one of the methods out of the many methods out there that you can use to create the loop. Okay, I just decided to show you guys this method because it's quite straightforward and you don't need any other thing to do it, just sew on top. So in the course of making this particular outfit, my machine kept cutting thread. But all is well, at least we conquered. So right here, I'm done with this, and the next thing we're going to do now is to cut it into the pieces of loop we want to have it as. Okay, so the loop is going to go in a curve way. They have the method that you do in a curve way. They have the method you do in a straight way. So for the curve way, that's what I'm doing. I'm using 3 inches for the strips. Okay, 3 inches as the distance. So 3 inches wide or 3 inches long, anyhow you want to call it. So I went ahead to cut out all of them. As you can see how I'm cutting it out. Okay, kind of using the fast method. So I went ahead to count to make sure it is complete. We're using 6 on each side, so that's a total of 12 there. So once we're done with that, the next thing we're going to do now is to kick off the main sewing. So the first thing I'll do is to join the inseams, okay, that of the front, for the lining and for the main fabric. So just watch me. And right here, I am done. So I'm done with the part for the main fabric and that of the lining. So I'm just placing to see the part I will use for the lining. I just want to know the pattern that will be accurate for me. So after placing, I went ahead to choose the one I want to use for the main fabric and the one I want to use for the lining. Once I've determined that, I went ahead to now sew that of the back to it. So you place and you sew the way I just placed, okay? Make sure you indicate the right side from the wrong side if you're using a fabric that is hard to detect the right from the wrong, okay? So you can see what I'm doing. I'm sewing the back now to the side of the front. Remember, the front has zipper, okay? So that's why you're seeing it opened. There's going to be zipper in the front. So I added my zipper allowance also to the front. I forgot to mention that earlier. Okay, so right here you can see how I am joining all the sides at once. So make sure you follow your seam allowance. That seam allowance you have added, make sure you consume everything. It is very, very important you do that, so that at the end your production will be accurate. The measurements you are using will come out as what you have said it is. Okay, so once we're done with that, we are going to separate all of them, separating the front now from the lining. That's the right side from the lining. So now we have the back there here. We can go ahead and mark and sew in our loop. So the loops are going to be in curve manner, like I said. So you're going to mark the spaces you want to have between. I think I did about 1.5 inches after back and forth of checking what will be enough. So at the end, I ended up with marking 1 1/4 apart from each other. So now we're going to kick off our sewing. So what you want to do is to have your loop in a curve manner. For me, I'm working with a curve manner, but you can work with the straight method. So this one, I went down a little bit from the top, then I target where I marked, create my curve this way, and I sew all the way like this. So the trick here is to create a crisscross like this for the next one, then continue. So you keep adding to create your crisscross this way. I don't even need to speak too much drama, just pay attention to the video, you will get it, okay? So once you've exhausted that one, you create your curve, add your next one in a cross manner, and you sew down. It's quite easy to do. I prefer this method, it's easier and very fast. Okay, yeah, there goes my thread. So the other method is just for you to place your loop and just sew straight. But this one, you have to cross this way to create a connection. So you're connecting all the loops together at the same time, something like that. Okay. So you want to make sure you mark a line where you follow when stitching so you don't go out of the straight line. So once you're done, this is it. By the time we take it in, that's how it will look like. So I'm going to go ahead also and do that of the other side. Just watch. So right here we're done. You can see everything equals out. And next, we're going to start sewing in our boning. And yeah, so just get your boning. But first of all, you're going to notch. You can take this your iron and iron the seams open, but I didn't do that. I just notched all the way around the curves. So just create your notch about 1 inch apart or 1.5 inch apart, making sure you target the under bust area very well. Okay, so you open up the seams this way and you're going to start sewing in your boning on them. Now, before you start sewing the boning, make sure that you have done what? That you have ironed the boning to be very, very straight. Okay, so you're going to sew the boning on top. Now, as you're sewing, make sure you're sewing to the sides of the boning because I tried doing that of the center first, but this particular machine did not agree. There's a particular machine in my space here that I can use and it will sew very well in the middle of the boning, but don't do that. Just do the normal sewing to the sides. Okay, I wanted to just do it once and escape it, but you can see my thread kept cutting. So make sure you sew to the sides. That's just what I'm trying to tell you. So at the end, I ended up going to the sides and I started sewing towards the sides. So once you're getting to the bust area, make sure you open up the seams very, very well and sew the boning in. So as you're getting to the end, you cut and you are done. Now, don't get to the very end. In fact, don't get to your seam allowance at all. If you know anywhere your seam allowance is on the top and on the bottom, avoid it. Avoid those seam allowance. You're going to be stopping 1 inch before the edge of your fabric there. Okay, that's just the best. That's just the best. So, like I mentioned earlier, my thread was just cutting in the process, but we conquered. That's what matters. So I'm done with the first boning, and that's how I'm going to keep sewing the boning on all the seams. Okay, the seams area, that's where I'm sewing those boning. So for this particular side, I didn't open up the seam because it's straight stuff. There's no curve. So you can decide not to open up the seam. Like, the way my thread was just cut in this process, just make sure it doesn't happen to you. Okay, but I later figured out what was wrong and I fixed it. Was actually the machine. The machine was having issues. So at this point, I just gave up. I went to go look for the solution. Let's go. So right here, we have found the solution, and right here, I think this is the last boning on the side now that I'm doing. And yes, we are done. So we've attached boning on all the joinings now. So the next thing is to attach our zipper. So get your zipper, the matching zipper you want to use. I'm going to go ahead and fix my zipper foot first. Okay, So you want to make sure you're attaching the zipper on the right side, the fabric that is the right side, okay? So that you don't go and put it on the lining part. That if you're using a similar fabric like me. So I exchanged the zipper because it didn't match. Right here now, we're going to attach the zipper. So what you do is to make sure you mark out your seam allowance, then place the zipper like this. So before we kick off, let me just quickly change my zipper foot. Yeah, change my foot to zipper foot rather. So I've done that, and we're going to kick off. So you place your zipper, the right side of the zipper facing the right side of the fabric, then you sew all the way down. So you can see how I ended the end there, okay? That's how you want yours to be, so that you can be able to pass your zipper and detach the fabric separately. Yeah, that's just a trick there. So here you match up again. Then see how many inches I left there, about 1 inch for my seam allowance there. Then I sewed my zipper. So using the zipper foot makes the work easier for you and very fast. So I like using zipper foots. If you don't have it, you can always get it from the market. Just ask them, they will show it to you. So yeah, this is it. We are done. Can you see? Quite easy. Yeah. So now that you have attached the zipper, you are going to start turning with the lining part. Okay, so separate the zipper, separate the two of them now, then bring your lining fabric. Now, I didn't know if I mentioned this. The body we attached earlier is on the lining fabric, oh, on the lining fabric. Okay, so we're going to close everything now. So I've matched it right side facing right side. Then you're going to start sewing. So the same way we sew the zipper, you are going to place it on the center front now and close up that zipper part first. It's just like a way you're making your outfit. If you're used to making outfit before, this should be very, very easy for you. So we're trying to get something that is clean and very neat and straight to the point. That's what we're trying to do here. So I'm matching the other part now. For the front, remember the front is divided into two. So this is the other side right here. Okay. So that point where we attach the zipper, that's where I'm turning now with the lining part. So remember, like I said earlier, that the lining part is where your boning is. Okay. So we're going to continue sewing now. We're having difficulties passing that thread to the needle. So we're sewing this to enclose our zipper inside. Okay, to make it neat. By the time we're done, we should have something very neat. Yeah, something like this. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to remove the zipper foot and put the normal foot. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to continue. So we've placed it right side facing right side. So I'm going to turn the upper part now, which is the neckline area. So we're turning now. As I'm turning, I'm making sure that my seams stay open. Okay, following my seam allowance. You can see how I'm aligning everything. So I'm done with the front now. Now you sew it all the way to the back side. Remember, we've joined the sides for the front and the back already. Okay, so at this point you should have joined yours, and now you are sewing all the neckline, all the upper parts, all the way down to the place you have the loop. So this is the loop side. Now we are turning the loop part also. So you are following the line where you sewed the loop before. So that same line, that's where you're following. So that at the end of the day, you are going to have your loop coming out on the right side of your fabric. So I'm doing the same thing now to the other part. So right here, in summary, I have two parts for this corset. Like the part going to your left side of your body and the part going to your right side of your body. So that's how it is. So right here now, we close this other side. So remember, you're going on the line where you sewed the loop, okay? So that the loop will turn out well on the right side. So once you're done with that, on this loop part, you're going to attach our boning, okay? So that same point where your seam allowance is, that's where you're attaching. Like your seam allowance is about 1/2 inch, right? On that seam allowance, that's where you're attaching, okay? Not on your sewing line. So you are passing your sewing line. After your sewing line, you are going to your right hand side now on where the seam allowance is. That's where you're attaching the boning, okay? So I know you cannot see my stitch line very well from here. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. So once you're done with that, you do that of the other side. it is very important you do this boning aspect if you don't want to have squeezes, you don't want to have bulges on this boning. You want it to be straightened out as much as it can. So once you're done with this, the next is to attach boning on the zipper part. Yes, that zipper part also, you're going to be attaching boning there. Now, the boning is going to go after your seam allowance on the top part, on the seam allowance in the inside here. So after the zipper part, if you touch the fabric, you see where the zipper is. You feel it. So on the seam allowance itself, just like the way we did for the loop side, that's how you're attaching that of the zipper part. You're attaching it on the seam allowance itself. Okay. So once you're done with that, you do that of the other side also. So once you're done with that, you are going to start trimming and snipping. So you trim and you notch. Start notching those curves on the neckline area. Okay, once you're notching, make sure you're not cutting through your thread. Okay, you want to notch very carefully. And once you're done with the notching, you can turn over. So here I'm turning over to the right side. So you, from the hemline, that's the lower part, that's the space that will be left open for you to turn everything out. Okay, so that's what I'm doing right here. So at this point, we are almost done. So just patiently do all the turning out and make sure everything aligns. Put in the zipper to be sure that it aligns. So once it's aligned everywhere, both on the top and the bottom, you are good to go. So this is it. You can see everything turned out everywhere is okay. The boning makes the fabric straightened out on its own. So the next thing we're going to do now is to turn in this lower part. So this lower part can be quite tricky, but you want to take your time, okay, to make sure everything equals out. And you don't want to like rush it too much because this is where the sewing ends and you need it to be as neat as possible. You can see how I'm making sure it is staying flat before I start stitching. So that's what you want to make sure you're doing, okay? So you're putting in the seam allowances. You're like pushing it in, making sure it is neat and laying flat before you stitch down. So right here, I'm pushing in the fabric from the lining and that of the main fabric itself into their middle. So it's staying in their middle and I stitch on top. So once I get to this zipper part, this is another part again that can be tricky. You want to make sure everything lays flat and straight. So you're going to take your time fixing that part. Okay, at the point, I think I used something and I pushed it in. I used my pencil to push it in to make sure it's flat, then I sewed. So once I'm done with that, I went ahead also and do that of the other side. So just watch. So right here is our last stitch for this outfit. We are done. Remember, we're doing a live demonstration. So let's see the time we spent. Now this is 4:05. We started 2:47 and that's about 2 hours. We have spent 1 hour 58 minutes on this outfit. So with this rate, you can make up to 3 or 4 or 5 in a day, depend on your strength. Now you can take this also to your iron and iron it out. Okay, cross check everything and make sure everything is okay. And for the rope for the loop, you can use bias tape, you can get ribbon, anything. You can even make a rope for yourself. So that's it for this outfit. All right, so mate, welcome back. We are done sewing. Let us see how this fits. Now, once you're done making this beautiful corset that is ready to sell and make you money, you need to get a fancy rope that you'll be using for the loops. You can see this particular one has this fancy rope. It's quite shiny though. You can use that, or you can make a rope out of your fabric. You can also get rope from the market. This is called the ribbon. Yeah, you can also get it. Then you attach it to your corset like the way I've attached it now. Then you go ahead and tie first at the back. Okay, you tie first at the back. I'm tying it. Okay, then you open. I'm just showing you so you know how to tell your customers how to use it. You open up the zipper, then you are locking from here. I hope my jaw is not disturbing the mic. You lock it from here. Oh, that's my brush. So you lock it. Can you see this? Can you just see this beauty? This is so nice. Can you see? See how everything just laps. See, I will not lie to you. I've not ironed this. I've not taken it to the iron yet. But you can see how beautiful it is. I actually like the way the neckline turns out. Okay, you can make yours to be shorter because this one is quite shorter than this other one. So you can see the length. You can see the difference in the length. Okay. So yeah. So congratulations to you. You just made your first corset. If you haven't made corset before, you have made a corset that you can actually sell, supply to boutiques, supply to people. Okay. Yes, congratulations. Even if you make it the first time, it looks funny, you don't like how some parts is, just check it out, and know what you need to adjust. So that as time goes on, you know the best method to use when making your own corset. Okay. So I have homework for you. You see the way we have drafted our pattern. We have done all of this. We've sewn this. We timed ourselves. You can see it was a live demonstration I did for you. That's how you're going to time yourself. Give yourself time to do this, to do that, and see if you can beat the time. Because what we need now is for you to use your own resources since you don't have the capacity yet to get people. But if you have the capacity to get people, no problem. But if you're working alone, this is like a test on you now. I'm giving you homework. Go and draft, cut, sew, time yourself. Send your updates in the group. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you've done. Tell us if you need help so that we can come to you. So at this point, so mate, we've come to the end of day one. Make sure you watch out for day two, where we'll be talking about bulk selling. Where do you get these customers? Where do you get these bulk buyers that will come and grab this beautiful kind of corset that you're making? Let's see how to do that in day two. Remember, it is the same time we are meeting again in day two. I'll see you. Bye.